The worst of Opie.
Now, this is cool. This is something unique and different.
Oh, it's a nice change of pace.
Strap on your douche chill belts.
That just stinks.
There's no substance to it.
Oh, it's just this big, confusing mess of who gives a crap.
Yeah, we suck. Anything else?
Very funny guy, Patton Oswalt, who's playing, where are we playing? Caroline's? First time on our show. It's about time.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get you on this
know.
show for fucking ever.
Been a while.
Dude, I gotta tell you.
That never happened.
Well, you were in the movie Big Fan.
Right.
And I was a big fan of Big Fan.
You saw it? Oh, thanks.
And I said,
we're going to see that.
but I said, let's get this guy on. I loved it. Not a lot of people saw it. It was like kind of an independent type of thing.
Oh,
right?
that thing, like it toured the country like a little band in a van. Like it would play a week somewhere and then vanish, show up somewhere else. There was no actual. I felt like, do we have one print of this movie? Are we just driving it to theaters and like going flyering the town and all right, we'll see you tonight for the screening?
Was it your baby or you were just called to play the main role there?
I was called to play the main role.
Okay.
The guy that wrote it was the. He wrote.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
It's Jimmy
He wrote
Norton.
the Wrestler.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, and then so he was getting offers to write other stuff, and he's like, "Nah, put my money in this thing. I want to do this."
We're talking about Big Fan.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I really liked the film because you were such a creep. A caller to a sports talk show. That
must
was
have been
very
like,
obsessed.
That must have been seen like a lot of your callers all just kind of gelled into one person on the screen.
Oh, please. Callers stink.
And then who was in the movie is Scott Farrell.
Yeah, he was the voice.
Our old pal Scott Farrell was the sports guy.
Oh, no kidding.
That you called. You don't
really?
Oh, I
Is
guess
he a real? I don't listen to sports radio. Is he a real sports guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so he deals with those people then.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would get in the movie. You would get everything you want to say on a piece of paper. It was almost serial killer-ish.
Well,
and
the
you had
guy-
to have a perfect call to make sure
Yeah.
you're still like the number one caller.
Perfect call.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. To be the number one caller for this particular sports talk show.
You guys must get calls where you figure out halfway through that, oh, this guy wrote all this down. He's clearly reading
sure.
a little
We would love
manifesto.
that if people wrote something down. We get people that don't even know they're on the air. Like, what? Huh?
Yeah, but
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, well, you're on the air. Say what you want to say. Me? Yes, you.
But they learn from us because we don't write anything. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
Why are we expecting more from them?
True.
Apparently, the guy that wrote Big Fan said he would listen to sports radio and hear these callers, and the minute they would hang up in his mind, he would go, "Okay, what's that guy doing right now? Like, now that his call is done, how does he fill the next 23 hours and 57 minutes?
Right.
What does he do?" And then that's where the movie.
Because
came
you
out.
can't really call more than once usually.
Yeah.
It really is interesting, too, because I used to listen when we were off the air for a couple of years. I would ride around, look at prostitutes, and listen to Beningo at night. That's what I would do. Hours of sports radio just to forget that I wasn't on radio anymore.
Yeah.
And the same people, night after night. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're calling up making these fucking, who gives a shit points about, the Mets, the middle relief. All right, thanks for the call. It's like, why would you give a fuck?
Meanwhile, those prostitutes, the same bald guy in the car every night. I come down here, I'm right down here, and the same guy. It's really weird, man. And I think he's got the windows up. He's clearly listening to something in there. I don't know what. Just come out and say hi to me. He just stares. It's really weird.
What a creep.
I could write a movie about that guy.
Jimmy's best story.
That's
about
a great point.
You got to tell Patton. We've told it on the air a few times, but your best prostitution story is when they took your glasses.
Wasn't they? I was looking at trannies.
Right. You got to tell Patton.
No, she. Respect. It was,
Such an amazing story.
I would ride around looking at trannies, and I was looking at one, and I wasn't going to buy. I just kept stopping. I was wearing glasses back then because I had an eye infection.
Right.
Many years ago, I was living in Jersey, and I stopped, and the tranny walked over and snatched my glasses off and said, "For wasting my time," and walked away. And I'm literally sitting there in my car, and I can see maybe from here to Ope. I am completely fucking blind.
Wow.
And a cop was riding by, and I actually high beamed and flashed the cop, and I'm like, he came over, and I'm like, she took my glasses, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? That's a guy, and I had to pretend I didn't know. I'm like, really? Oh,
See, I didn't have my glasses on.
yeah.
Did you affect a Kansas accent? I'm just visiting this city, and this real tall woman come up with big forearms and grabbed my specs off of my face.
I'm just going to ask for directions.
Yeah, I think the Jersey plates gave it away.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
So you can literally say a hooker took my glasses.
Oh yeah. I can certainly say that.
So you never have gotten off the playground. They're either taking your lunch money or your glasses. It just never ends.
My dignity, my no herpes status.
Sorry, they took my lunch money, my no herpes status. These bullies are really rough.
We're being bullied.
I had a hooker pop my fucking take my key out of my ignition one time. We were stopped.
How do you let them reach into the car this far?
She was in the car.
Oh, she was in the... Oh, wow.
Jesus, Anthony.
Silly me. I assumed
Every once in a
again
while
Yeah.
he would
that it was
invite one
outside.
inside.
No, I was giving her a ride. Like I would give them a ride. This before I was really dating a lot in New York and getting whores. I was giving her a ride, and I would see if I could finagle anything. And this one, I was like, I'm just giving you a ride. And we stopped at the stop sign. And
Your
we saw her
marketplace in Bangladesh.
and fucking popped out my keys. And you got to give me 20.
You know, Jim, when they say they want to listen to Delilah, change the state. Let them listen. They're very insistent on the right music. You know, it's got to be Peebo Bryson if I'm going to go down on you. I can't do it to this old 70s metal. The mood's not right.
Yeah, hookers never like Sabbath. I learned that.
Hookers don't like Sabbath. There's your next book title. Hookers don't like Sabbath. Scares them away.
You got the keys taken away, and then what'd you do? You had to
Gave 20.
Did you get anything?
Nah, I
besides
might
the
have got to
keys?
see the tits or something. I mean,
And the hairs on him.
yeah, you have to. Well, you know, it was dark.
Razor stubble.
Yeah, you know.
Wow, that's bad, man.
Oh, ooh, they smell like Nair. I like it. Very nice. So you
Degenerate.
bought your keys back.
I really did. But you learn if you don't do that, there's going to be a problem. It's like you have to.
I got to ask you, why did you invite this male, woman?
No, this
thing,
was a
whatever?
woman.
Oh, sure.
Sure she was.
Into the car.
To drop her off somewhere. Sometimes I would just talk to them and get a feel. Like one girl I used to drop off in Jersey. I told this story and confessing it in Montreal, and I wound up. I really did not know she was a tranny. I fucked her in the ass, and then I realized when I was fucking her. There's no bag, no nothing. Jersey City.
Oh, Jesus! Come on.
This is many. This is late '90s at some point.
That's playing Russian roulette with an automatic.
Yeah, you had just seen The Phantom Menace. You're in a good mood. Late 90s. You come out. Jim, no offense. Your life is Taxi Driver without the guns or push-ups. You realize that, right? Like, that's basically your life.
Fucking fat.
Yeah, it's like someone either adds some pull-ups and a massacre, and you're just Travis Bickle, basically.
Yeah, at least that'll be something heroic.
Yeah, I just have the lonely part.
Yeah, I know.
Just sad and
Yeah, that guy Travis. But you heard that Jim Norton guy?
How'd you discover that he had a penis?
I was.
Because you swear that you didn't know at first.
No, I really didn't. We were fucking. I would tell you if I did. We were fucking, and I think it was on the like I was kneeling between the legs. It was dark. It was pitch black in my car in Jersey City, in projects like next to a dumpster.
Wow.
And I just looked down.
Were you just trying to take every risk possible? Okay, dude, something, AIDS, robbery, murder.
Please just give me something, right?
Yeah.
They're going to name something after me.
Jim's Law.
Wait, stack them up.
Hey, what happened to that guy? He suddenly lost a lot of weight. He got Norton. It's really weird. He went Norton, man. You know what happens? These guys, they get. Oh, it's really weird.
Terrible. Could you pile them all up again? It was Jersey City.
That was Jersey
No
City.
bag.
Projects,
No bag.
pitch black.
Projects. Pitch dark. Tranny.
Yeah, I lived in North Brunswick at the time.
Jesus.
My parents and I was driving,
Holy
and I forget
shit.
how it happened. I think she just flagged me down and asked for a ride, like a legit ride. She said, "I'm going back to Jersey," and so my Jersey plates.
I wouldn't.
Little
pick
help?
up-
Little help here?
Need a ride.
Who's got a ride for an old showgirl?
Fucking fats.
Wow.
There's no way I'd pick anybody up if they needed a ride. What were you doing? Come on
Looking for
now.
prostitutes.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at hookers. What do you think I was doing? It was 3 in the morning. I lived with my mom and dad.
You seem to window shop a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's most of my addiction was just looking. It was
Yeah,
a weird
just
ritual.
looking.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
ritualistic. I would only pick them up if they got it on the right side. Like if they looked it on the right side, I would stop. It was like all these things to keep the ritual going and not act out on it.
Right side.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that you managed to work obsessive compulsive disorder your hooker habits.
Into this horribly dangerous situation.
Again, I just can't. I can't even think that the hookers started to talk about you like, oh, there's that right side guy.
Yeah, go to the
Here
left.
comes the right side guy. Don't go the other way. You know how he is.
They do recognize you after a while, and at times they'll heckle you, like they'll yell things. I got yelled at because literally I would never stop.
Heckled on the road.
Heckled by hookers, yeah.
Keep riding around, like shit like that. Like they just get annoyed that you're riding around and not stopping.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah, it's great.
So you're fucking this thing in the ass.
Yeah.
It's pitch black, very dangerous neighborhood
And then you look
project.
down.
And then you look down. What did?
It was just, I knew. I know. I mean, I was young. I was an idiot. I mean,
I love the absolute. I knew.
yeah.
Oh
I
my
just
God! You have 2 tumors in each labia. It's terrible. You should see a doctor.
But I literally was very naive about that at one point in my life. For a long time, I would get whores, and I didn't like. I remember a New Brunswick cop told me because I would always feel for tits, and he's like, "So they get implants." I never occurred
Wait,
to
the cop
me.
was helping you out though?
He's a buddy of mine, sober buddy. I never realized that a guy would get tits. Like it didn't occur to me. I was getting hookers for a long time at that point. I would always check.
So that's when you were just so sweet and innocent.
Yeah, that was before it
You
all went
really
wrong.
were. Yeah, just like a tender doe in the woods.
I remember one Puerto Rican chick got in my car and she was eating peanut brittle and fucking.
Who the fuck?
I swear to God,
Did she just like visit her grandma? Like, why was she eating peanut brittle?
it was the worst ever. And then she sucked my dick and it was the whole that peanut smell. Never forget that as long as I live. I was 22.
She still had strong teeth though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't bad off
Yeah,
yet.
I knew that was how I knew she wasn't doing meth.
Right. Her teeth would fall out.
Yeah, she was enjoying peanut
She's down
brittle.
on the peanut butter.
All right, you're just a garden variety alcoholic.
Yeah. Maybe she did that to let the clients know that strong teeth. All right, no meth. All right, I got a pretty good shot with that one. The peanut
Weird as
brittle.
a hooker find peanut.
I'll never forget it as long as I live.
It's crazy.
Yeah, she was sexy too. Like except with that, she was good looking.
Fuck, that's
She was one
Except for the peanut brittle.
Yeah, except for the fucking dive.
the weird jagged bits of sugar that are rubbing. Oh, God,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
looks
that's
horrible.
Sticky,
Yeah.
molassesy peanut brittle on your dick.
Yeah,
That is
awful.
disturbing.
People are like, I just fucked Yogi Bear. That's what I smell like right now.
fucking Jimmy took some chances.
I had a regular named Kim. She was a black girl. She was a real girl too, because I'd fucked her. And I remember one time she hung out my door. Like she made me open the door and she pissed, and then she got back in and she had left one of her shoes outside the car, so she just lost her shoe because she stood outside to piss, and she was so drunk. She was an alcoholic. She was a great girl.
That's the closest.
He ends it with she was a girl.
That's the closest you ever come to being like a Cinderella story. That is a Cinderella story.
He put the piss fucking shoe back on my foot, and I turned back into a skank boy.
Whoever fits into this,
Whoever fits into this fucking.
whoever fits into this keg.
It was Dudley Moore's shoe.
Oh fuck!
Wow.
Hey, you know what happened to some of these broads?
No, I
over the
remember
years.
once in a while. I remember one really affected me. I used to go to these sober dances, and after a sober dance, I would just act out because I'd be lonely. And this one white woman.
Awful is a sober dance.
Yeah, you
Fuck the
know.
story you're about to tell.
It was. They were not good.
little dull.
Well, those are two words that really don't belong together. They're totally fine by themselves. You put them together. Oh, boy.
my God!
Sober
Yeah.
It
dance.
should have been a sober stand around and just look at an empty floor, bunch of zilches.
Because everybody's inhibitions are all still there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because in order to dance, people have to drink a little bit, you know?
But this one girl I picked up, she's like, "Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this." And I think I just wound up talking to her, not even having sex with her. Dropped
She
her
just
off.
didn't want to fuck
Of course
you.
she didn't.
Yeah.
She already had the money. She's like, "All right, I'll shrink this idiot for a couple of minutes." Act concerned.
But you said you were affected by her.
Meaning, like, I was like, "Wow, maybe she's right."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And someone wants to know if you kept fucking the guy after you found out.
Well, when I discovered that the lady was not quite the lady I thought, it's like, what am I gonna do? Talk to her manager?
Yeah.
I fucking
At
dump
that
my
point,
load.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, demand the boss.
Yeah. Wow. False advertising.
Yeah. Hey, I want to see somebody about this.
A bait
You
and
see
switch.
A fucking box cutter soaked in garlic.
Like it's Michael Douglas and falling down. He's going to start pointing at the burger on the menu board.
Hey, where's your shop steward? What's going on? I want to talk to him.
He probably had one. Yeah. This is a fucking welding union.
Holy
There's some guy from the 409 in Jersey.
Dude, how did you, like, there wasn't any hair? Like, you fucked it in the
It was
ass.
so dark. We made out everything. I really was dumb at that
my
point. That's
God.
years ago, yeah.
What did it look like? What
It was
the
a vague
closest-
outline. I really just
No,
don't
I mean,
remember.
like, facially.
Black
and,
girl, attractive. I mean, literally, I just did not know.
I mean, you're saying black, but here, I want to boil it down here. You fucked a black man in his ass.
Now, so did America. It didn't hurt her, did it?
But like he was really clearly like close shaved, clean shaven, no stubble.
No. I really didn't know. I would tell you this many years later that if I knew. I really didn't know until I saw that, and I was already in mid-fuck. It's easy, but a lot of times people get fooled, man. I was a little more naive back then.
And that hooker turned out to be Danny Glover. Let's bring him in. A little surprise for you, Jim.
little
Norton. I was researching a role.
Your book, dude. We got
your
this.
book.
We didn't talk about it because we literally got it this morning. Like they didn't give us any advance copy.
For God's sakes.
Sorry. That's okay. Are you promoting the book? Has it been out for a while?
It came out Tuesday.
Oh, you're brand new. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And I got to tell you, your first book, the Tales of a
Happy Endings.
Meaty-Breasted Zilch, that was actually that kind of hung heavy over this book because I remember when I read it, it was like, oh, this fucker wrote a book. It wasn't. You didn't transcribe your fucking act. You didn't fill it with like lists of things. It was actual. You actually wrote a book.
Yeah.
So I had to go. Oh shit! I actually want to write a book.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to do my act. I don't want to run stuff that I've run on the internet. There's only one thing that I did on my blog years ago. It's a little 2-page thing. The publisher's like, we really like it. Just put it in there. It's 2 pages. But the rest, I was like, I want it all to be original and kind of confessional. And so,
Yeah, it does
thank
seem
you
a little
and
cheese.
fuck you for
Thanks,
having that
man.
out there because that was
Made you
against my
work
back
harder,
the whole
right.
time.
No,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
What's the
Thank you,
book
man.
about there, Patton?
It's basically my autobiography done out of order as a series of comedic essays about things, about working the road, and then my first job before I even realized I wanted to be a comedian, and then when I was really young, building snow forts, and so I tried to like nail exactly what my point of view in life was at that time. So just embrace how completely ignorant I was about certain things, and then you just sort of, even as you keep getting smarter and smarter, there's still just shit you absolutely don't understand.
Yeah.
So I just want to, because I just think that's what, nothing is funnier to me than people who think that, all right, I get the deal now, and you look at them like, oh God, they have like decades of shit to learn. They're so
you even
not
get
done.
close.
Yeah, they don't see the next subway train that's going to run them over.
Yeah.
They, oh, okay, I don't. Really
I
know
stopped
shit, so.
listening after Snow Forts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I fucking loved Snow Forts.
Yeah, yeah. That was, I just remember that was a
You
big
brought
deal.
me back, man.
Yeah, that was a big deal about growing up. So I did this whole thing of, there's a chapter called We're Playing Snow Fort, but you realize that I'm watching my friends' parents. We lived in the suburbs, but there was a lot of like kind of 70s divorce / alcoholism / swinging going on.
Where was
And
it? Suburbs of
Sterling, Virginia,
Okay.
Northern Virginia.
Wow.
But I'm looking at it through my 8-9-year-old eyes, and I don't quite know what, like, if you read it, you'll go, oh, I see what he's looking at, but I have no idea. I think it's all some kind of wonderful adventure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, the parents are really friendly with each other. So,
When did you realize it was swinging? Like, were your parents involved in it?
no, that's the thing that I actually appreciate about my parents. My parents were so square and boring and kind of just, let's go to soccer practice and bedtime at 9. And my friends' parents would let them smoke weed and go to concerts and stay out late. So I craved getting out and variety and having kind of a weird artistic life. And my friends, even though their parents were fun, their parents were also kind of scary because they would just, I couldn't pay the mortgage this month, but hey, those belly dancing lessons were fun, weren't they, that we took for no reason? So they grew up all wanting to be totally like married and kids, and everything is completely reliable. So they're still nice people, but they're not, they never got out and kind of wandered because they craved normalcy.
Wow, yeah.
And because you had so
Yeah,
much normalcy, you went the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just knew, oh, my parents are okay. They'll be fine. They'll be there. My other friends are like, I don't know what the hell my parents are doing. They're, my dad's moving out. There was all this weirdness. So they have become.
That was my growing up, though. I was the one with the crazy family.
Oh, really?
Sure, but then he also became a crazy alcoholic. So there goes that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, boom. Yeah, I just blew my theory.
I went right into right. Yeah. I took up where it left off.
Really?
I am the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take the baton from here. Oh, I got it, guys.
I got it.
You sit down. Watch this.
Rotted liver, part 2. Sorry, I don't mean that.
Yeah.
No, but please.
Yeah. But no, like that just seems to me, from my experience, that's what happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you see very normal, stable people, you go into their background, a lot of them come from really fucked up childhoods.
Yeah, yeah.
And they want that stability so
I just
bad.
noticed that everyone I know is from a fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, especially
How many people
girls.
escape that shit?
Any girl that has come through my life at any point in my life have all been batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Just batshit crazy. And then I've been told that, well, that's the pond you're looking in.
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's the pond where the fish fuck really well.
Who wants healthy fish in the pond?
Oh, I know. Yeah. Hatred of a father builds a strong pelvis. It really does. There is some kind of those muscles in there. Boom, man. It's like I'm gonna powder this memory with my pussy lips.
Oh fuck, man.
Hey, by the way, Ratatouille is still on DVD. Great movie for the kids.
Yes,
check that out.
That's right. You whad a
Holy shit,
voice
you
in
were
that
in
one, huh?
Yeah, I always have to throw that in after I've said the worst
The
possible
worst,
thing
most
I can.
heinous thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever gotten this, but I've gotten this a couple of times. Some guy told me, I saw this guy, and we were talking, he goes, dude, I saw an interview with Robin Williams, and he gave you props. I'm like, really? So, look, I'm human. So I went home and I watched Robin Williams on Charlie Rose. And it was Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
And fucking, like 10 minutes into it, he's like, oh, yeah. And then there's comedians like Patton Oswalt. And like, he was really speaking very highly of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if that piece of shit guy mistook me. And I watched 45 more minutes, not one Norton mention. I've been confused for you a couple of times. I've had people say,
Really?
Patton, yeah. I honestly, it's like just people that don't know comedy that well. We don't look that similar, but I've had a couple of guys. That guy and another guy
And the guy
recently.
you fucked in the ass.
Yeah, that tranny. Yeah.
Thanks, Spence.
Yes. Well,
Hey, by the way, my name's Patton Oswalt.
yes. She thought I was Patton. She's like, I'm the king and I'm a queen. But yeah, I had a couple times where I was confused with Patton. Have you ever got that?
God,
No.
that's depressing.
Especially the Robin Williams. I went home and watched the whole interview.
Wow.
I'd love to tell you I didn't care, but
What a great way to fuck with Jimmy also.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a big comedian say he was mentioned on a show, so Jimmy's got to sit there and obsessively
I was
watch
on
it.
fucking YouTube looking for Charlie. What was it? Well, it couldn't have been his 2005 interview. It had to be the recent one. Like, what a needy asshole.
I get it's not that I get mistaken for anyone in particular. I just get in like when you're on something and someone goes, yeah, I saw you in that show, King of Raymond, and you realize that a lot of people watch TV, it's just a blur in the background, and they don't quite know how they know you. They know they've seen you do something. Like, I don't know because you show up on a lot of stuff, and so you must get, especially this last year with Bored to Death and Louie, which are very kind of, their shows kind of live in parallel universes. Did people ever get that messed up with you? Like,
yeah, they know you from somewhere. I love this one too. I'm a big fan. Your name, like they
I'm
just
a big fan.
I've had that many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know your name. They just know that they've seen you on TV, and I never know what to say. If it's a hot chick, you tell her like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a comedian."
Yeah.
But when guys are like, "Where do I know you from?" I'm like, "Well, I come here often. I really do. I'm here a lot." And they're like, "Oh, all right." I never want to give them the. I'm on TV. Gives a fuck.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Some guy in an elevator.
Then if you go, yeah, I'm on TV. Okay, so what? Name some stuff. You're like,
What is this now? It
Come
turns into
on,
a
man.
quiz show for me. Get the fuck
just
out of here.
Go to my IMDb.
I met Mike Starr. You know Mike Starr?
Oh, yeah.
We did an episode of Ed together many years ago, like 2001, and I recognized him. And I'm like, I know you. I'm like, he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, what were you in? He goes, what, you want my resume? And I was like, I was so embarrassed. But it was an awkward question.
He is one of those guys. He is in so much stuff.
Yeah.
That it is hard. I saw him in a Starbucks in L.A. and I had just rewatched Ed Wood, so I was lucky to go, oh, you're seeing an Ed Wood. He plays the exploitation filmmaker that hires.
I remember.
He hires him to do Glenn or Glenda, and he's so hilarious. He's like, They go, do you have a script yet? No, we got a poster, and it's a sex change thing. Those Okies out in the Midwest, they love that sex stuff. They get all, like, he's so hilarious.
We already sold the Midwest.
Yeah, we sold the whole Midwest. I got to get this movie made. Like, all he has is a poster for this shitty movie.
Poster.
Yeah. So it's just awesome.
Yeah, Mike Starr is one of the, he's like JT Walsh had that kind of face where you know him and you see him in everything.
Yeah.
Most people didn't know the guy's name.
He turns up in so much stuff. Mike Starr, wasn't he in Goodfellas?
He was in Goodfellas.
He was the guy, you're looking at him.
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
I'm the commandant. I'm the midnight date man. Yeah.
I've seen him in scenes with Nicholson, obviously with De Niro and Leo. It's like he's done scenes with fucking everything.
That's right. He was in he's in Mad Dog and Glory, and him and David Caruso have a fight up in an apartment, and it's so funny because they're beating the shit out of each other, but they're also going, watch the glass, you asshole! Like, don't break this. It's this very realistic fist fight, the way that two guys would actually fight each other. Like, I can't. Fuck, it's such a good scene.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Watch it.
I just remember as they're I mean, they're really pummeling each other, but they're also like, there's glass there. Don't back me up against that. God damn it! Like it's
when you fight with rules, guys are fighting with rules.
That whole not the hair. God damn it!
I hate to have to ask you, what's the title there? Zombie Spaceship Wasteland.
That's my idea about how when you're starting off as trying to do something creative, especially if you were a geek like me, you have no fucking idea how the world works because you're just this young suburban smacked ass. So anything you start writing or making as a movie, you either have to set it in a zombie world, out in space, or in a wasteland because you don't know how you got to wipe the world out first.
Right, you can't.
There's been because I don't know how to pay a utility bill or how the court system works yet. So or even how like
fuck is that brilliant.
So there's so many and if you notice a lot of people's first stuff, it's either they do some space opera or they do this zombie thing. Zombie is great. You're like, well, yeah, there's zombies, so there's no laws. So you got to get a gun and a can of food.
You don't have to know how shit works.
That's your first thing that you do.
You don't have to be able to you don't have to be able to interpret life and write about it or put it to film.
Yeah.
You just make it up because everything's gone. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well,
smart. Never even
comedians have that thing. At least I did when you start off, you're so nervous and you're so insecure that what you do is if you watch comedians, especially my early stuff, all I'm doing is pointing out how stupid everything is and how I'm brilliant notice how dumb this is, and this guy's a fucking asshole, and this guy's an idiot, and then it takes you a while to get older to go, okay, here's some stupid shit I learned about myself. Like, here's how I'm a fucking idiot. But when you're young, you're too terrified to go up there and go, oh, here's a stupid thing I did. At least I was.
You're afraid they won't relate to it. You figure they relate to... I found out my first bit of press was my friend's brother wrote for a local paper, and it's a real cheese dick picture of me. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, like game shows, things that really upset me. I was like, I should be fucking executed.
Yeah, I have a comedian friend named Dave Anthony who said that you can tell like the young comedians because they're just angry at nothing. Yeah. They just think you're supposed to be angry. So like, what's the deal with toast? It's a fucking piece of bread and then it's hot and now it's crunchy. Bullshit. Like they just like you literally have not done anything yet. You're grasping for things to be angry. Yeah.
Oh,
so
it's
it's when you get older that you're scared enough to go, okay. Hey, listen to this stupid bullshit I did. You're not going to believe this.
Yeah, you're not as afraid they're not going to... You kind of get a better sense they're going to relate just because they're people.
And also,
you're confident.
You're trying to be... you're trying to keep this image of that you're cool. And self-deprecation... you don't see that as being cool when you're younger. You see it as, I don't want to point this out myself. Perish the thought somebody else sees this.
Yes.
And
there's nothing less funny than cool. That is the unfunniest thing on the planet is cool.
Is somebody trying to be cool.
Oh, God, it's painful.
Rockstar comedians are fucking horrendous.
Oh, God, guys. Because you're trapped. Once you establish that the whole thing is that I'm cool, you can never become vulnerable or go... Like, it's just... You're just fucked.
People like that. for years, like we would do the show and not point out when we fucked
mistakes
up.
and stuff.
Like we would fuck shit up and just have to stutter and kind of go
and just move on to something
else. And then when Jimmy came aboard on the show, like came aboard,
I say that. Believe me, I would fucking gut you like a lamb for that. But I said welcome aboard to somebody earlier today. It was fucking horrible, and I meant it too. I wasn't even being ironic. I was like, really, welcome aboard. Yeah.
It was a hallway thing.
Well
I
met.
witnessed.
when Jimmy joined the program,
Join the team, man.
he would point.
He started pointing out the
Point
shit.
out shit when we
It was
fuck
so
up.
uncomfortable. I'm like, why are you doing that?
But
Yeah.
it became
ended up
so
working.
funny that you just can't wait.
Turned out to be really
sometimes
important to
fuck
the
up.
success of the show.
That's the shit people always remember too, because they
Yeah.
go, "Oh, I fuck up like that," and I try to hide it.
Yeah,
Right.
You know,
yeah.
so
We
you're
all
not only
try to
fucking
hide
up,
the
he's
shit.
calling you guys for hiding it, which made you
And
know.
then you're just like, oh god, yes, I did that. Okay, I did it.
Yeah.
That's what frees us as stand-ups, though. It's like when you're on. That's the hard part of acting is you can't call it out when it sucks. When
Right.
the joke bombs, you can fucking just you can do what you want and control it.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you're bombing in a scene and you're like terrible in this, it's fucking horrifying.
It's really terrifying.
Jimmy just by the way,
Can't pull
covered
out.
his mouth when he said that. He goes, "It's horrifying."
You've
been there.
heavens.
Right. I actually will yell masher and hit the man.
Breathe into a lilac-scented doily.
Have a touch of the vapors.
Oh my goodness! Get me a cucumber sandwich, crust removed.
Where are you going, Jimmy? Like, what?
He's got an LA trip.
But why are you going to Arizona?
I'm shooting something for the Tonight Show for this college thing. This college, whatever the big
thing.
game,
It's
BSU.
the BCS championship.
I don't know what that is.
Is it like a bowl game, or those are?
Yeah, it's one of those
That
big
is-
college bowl
It's
games.
the game every year.
So I'm shooting that Friday and Saturday, and then I go out Sunday, and then I just.
What are you doing? Like the parking lot? Like
I guess whatever because the game is Monday, so I think I just go on stage and pitch it
Tailgating
to,
and shit?
to Jay on Monday. Like I just throw it to him on
Yeah.
Monday night. We're doing it Monday night.
Where in Arizona will you be?
I don't know. I land in Phoenix, but it's like 20 minutes from Phoenix. Glendale, I think. I could be
Fucked
wrong.
up like a place like Arizona, you could land at the airport and then it's 5 hours to go where you
your
want to go.
Arizona, it's a very beautiful state, but it's like you're living on a moon colony. You know, like it's very modern and nice, but everything is so sunbaked. You're like, oh, did they terraform the moon? Why the fuck am I doing here?
so
Yeah.
fucking true.
We manufacture those.
Yeah, and there's so many like preserved old people out there. I know that Florida gets around for that, so the old people go. I think they go to Arizona.
Arizona,
because
yeah.
That there's no moisture, so they just become like these living mummies. They just don't die out there, man.
And they do hear about how that dry heat helps whatever ailment they
something,
have.
yeah.
Arthritis or their
Yeah.
lung ailments or anything. It's
Yeah, they
always-
got that Doc Holliday TB, so they gotta go preserve their lung tissue or something.
Go out to Arizona, Lunger.
yeah, lunger.
Hey, Lunger.
People are healthy out there, though. They look like the women out there are beautiful. There's
Oh, I
something about
know.
that. Oh, they
Yeah,
are some
up until they're
gorgeous
23 and then look like fucking an old saddle.
race. 10 years after I need them.
That fucking, the sun will fuck women.
Yeah.
Like the worst part is the top of a woman's breast when she lives in a very sunny climate. It just becomes this
Leathery
beef
thing.
jerky in a
That's
bra.
horrible.
Yeah,
It's horrid.
Yeah, it looks like an old millionaire's desktop. You know, like where he'd be signing checks. And
It's his blotter.
I will sign this check, and you never come to this estate again. Goodbye. I said good day, sir.
Good day.
And also, like the thing about like the Arizona, the one thing I like is, and you'll notice this when you're there. Well, no, it won't be that hot when you're there, but in the summertime, from like 11 a.m. till about 2:30, the city just shuts down. Everyone just goes inside.
It's just too
and
hot.
they either take a nap or they just do their shit inside, and everything kind of calms down. I like that.
What do you think it is this time of year? Like 65, 70?
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous right now.
Yeah.
You're really happy.
Yeah, I'm bringing a small coat. Nothing heavy.
There are
Yeah.
certain times of the year, and I'm always amazed that people actually live there. And even here in the Northeast, because we get some snow and some really brutally cold weather, and Buffalo like that, where if a probe was sent down
Yeah.
and it landed in the right place at the right season, people would, or whatever beings would be like, there's no fucking way there's life there.
It's a wasteland.
It's a wasteland
Yeah.
of, because you think the whole planet is covered in ice.
Yep.
It's 30 below zero. let's write this one off.
Yeah.
Or it's 120 degrees.
Yeah, it's a
Nothing to
hellhole.
live here.
Who's that? There's a comedian, Larry Ambrose, who said, I come from Buffalo, New York. They have 2 seasons, winter and July 8th.
That's good.
I love that line. And I've been in Buffalo. That is exactly what it's like.
I lived there for 3 years.
Oh, you lived? Wait a minute, you lived in
The
Buffalo?
winters go on for fucking ever. And
Yeah.
it snows every day until that fucking lake freezes.
And
'Cause that lake affects
everything is
snow.
frozen in ice, right? It's
Everything.
just frozen solid.
I went through long johns because I would just wear them every fucking day to try to stay warm. Yeah.
Do
But
you
you
have to-
learned how to just adapt, and people know how to drive on ice and snow there.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother them at all.
Is that where you, at night, you have to plug your car in or, like, plug to keep it
Oh,
from
yeah, there's like a
freezing?
blanket you put over your engine
Something,
and plug it
yeah.
in so your oil doesn't
Sure, yeah.
freeze.
Yeah, you can't
And
really-
diesel
I'm not
engines,
kidding. They
wow.
really do that.
You can't really have an older car in Buffalo in the winter, no. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're not going to get that thing started in the morning. But every morning you had to fucking brush off your car from the snow that came.
And use that little de-icing spray for the rocks
Everything.
sometimes?
You had all that shit.
You know, that's one thing about being, kind of successful in a way, growing up a little bit and having some disposable income. I don't have to hear anymore.
Yeah.
And that used to be a daily occurrence where you like pump the pedal twice on my old Chevy Nova or some shit
Oh,
and
yeah.
try to get that thing turned over.
The days of an old fucking car.
And then that distressing when it
Thank
finally
God.
just gets down to the grr, grr, click,
Yeah.
What about the
click. Got cables.
And also all those years of going in and negotiating with mechanics at some kind of sketchy garage. And look, how can we just keep this thing running? I'm telling you, when I was living in San Francisco, I had to just keep this old Jetta just moving so I could keep working. And I had this really nice mechanic, but it was always like, okay, I have this much money, what can you fix that'll keep it going? I know this thing isn't working, and it was just, I always had a car in which I knew 3 or 4 things were just broken on, but he's like, you can still drive this without these things
As
working.
long as it keeps moving, yeah.
You
step on
can't,
the
no
gas.
more air, no more heat, but you can have these things, And now I just take my car to the dealer and go, make it run,
Yeah, fix.
and I'll be back. Like
I think it's still under warranty,
Yeah.
sir.
yeah. I don't even. That's the one luxury that I do is I just make the thing go,
Yeah.
and then I just come back.
Having money rules.
Well, there is a certain
rules.
thing, and if you come from shit and that kind of suburban,
Like we all
fucking-
did.
I mean, loading. How many times I load my friend for every degenerate I'm hauling around with me.
Yeah.
And like coming from that and being able to afford things is nice. I must admit.
Oh, it's great.
There's nothing wrong with money. There's
nice.
absolutely nothing wrong with
I
money.
fucking love it, man.
It doesn't buy happiness, but it sure can eliminate some sadness.
Yeah.
You can wipe some of that out.
Yeah. Money can't buy you happiness. Great. How much sadness can it make go away?
Yeah, that's all I need.
Or how much sadness can it keep me from?
Yeah,
How high can I build the wall between me and sadness?
The sadness barrier.
Yeah.
Filling it with cash.
Yeah, where's that sadness? Where's that sadness deflecting barbed wire that money can buy? Because that's pretty good.
Shit. True, man.
When did you start? You're doing very well. I started probably maybe around 2001. I started doing okay, and then as years went on, I started. But I was about 11, 12 years in before I started doing decent.
Not till the early aughts that I feel like I had actually some security because I'd incurred so many debts.
Well.
You incur so much debt getting there, and all the years that people just carried you. I was very determined to pay back debts, pay off credit cards, and so there were times like I was on TV for years and still lived in a very crappy apartment and drove a very old car and people would see you and go, you're on TV, you're rich. It's like, you don't really understand how it works.
really
Like
works,
it actually takes you a while after being, I've had friends that are writers that they publish 5 books and they're still working day jobs. There's just no money in it for a long time.
I had the same disillusionment with our own Greg Opie Hughes here when because he had his own show on WBAB on Long Island.
Well, when I met Ann, I was already 10 years in.
10 years in the business.
10 fucking years in.
He was doing 7 to midnight at BAB, and I used to come on every so often and, be a little guest, have some fun, shit like that. And I was under the impression that because he was on the radio, he was rich.
And it has to be. He's on the radio.
So we got to know each other a little more, and he goes, "Hey, you want to come over? Watch a fucking movie, hang out at the house, drink
whatever
beer."
it was, right?
I'm like, cool, sounds good. So he's driving, and I'm like following my piece of shit work van. I was putting in air conditioning and heating duct work, and I'm following him, and we're going into Northport, which is a nice neighborhood in Long Island.
So you're thinking maybe a beach house
and I'm
on the
thinking
water?
beach house on the water.
Sure.
He makes the turn that is not the turn toward the nice houses.
Not the turn you were expecting.
He made that one turn in Northport where it was like, hey, wait a minute. This isn't that place. And we pull up in front of a house, and now I'm like, all right, well, this maybe, and I actually thought this, maybe this is his summer house. like this is just another one of his houses.
And then it went from, that's his house to, wait a minute, it's only half his
He's
house.
in an apartment in
upstairs.
a house. And I fucking went like, oh, no.
And then he cooked you a piece of toast with a coat hanger over a hot plate.
That's how it
I
is,
remember,
though, man.
and I'm sure you remember this too, that first year that I broke double digits as a comedian, I made $11,000
Oh, wow.
in 1992. I was living in San Francisco, and I got to the end of the year, and I had made $11,000 as a stand-up, and I was kind of arrogant about it. I was like, yeah, 11 grand. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And again, I barely paid my rent. I would always eat at this place called La Cumbre. They had 75-cent burritos. And then anywhere that I worked, I would try to work open mics where if you bought one drink, you could eat at the buffet or just eat the bar food.
And you had an attitude.
And I kind of had a tune like, hey, I'm 11 grand. I'm up in double digits now. Still pretty good. Yeah, truly, stuff's happening now. Cruise road take 11 grand. And I was kind of puffing my chest out.
Do you save your old
I hope to double that.
Well, that's what Patton's doing right now.
Yeah,
He's finally doubling that.
Do you save your old? I have all my old calendars, like
I have
making $350 for the week.
You hoarder.
But I do hoard that stuff, like where I had my little organizer. And I would go to Wildwood. I would do a week in Wildwood, like 14 shows for $350, and then the second week you did there, you did $400 for 14 shows.
Yeah. And I have all like, if you look at my calendar.
Show?
No, for the whole week.
Yeah, and it looks like I'm some kind of weird, like hoarder OCD guy because you're doing gigs and like you will go somewhere if there's something in the afternoon you'll do it.
Yeah,
you'll do clubs and every single night there's some one nighter where you're driving out and you basically make enough money to put the gas in that will get your car back. Shit. I mean it's insane.
But you learn to love other comedians like that because Jim Florentine, Bob Levy, those guys. We would go down to Maryland and do gigs, and I would make $25 a show for 3 shows. It was $75 for the weekend and no food and no room. So those guys would buy me food and put me up.
Oh, wow.
They learned how to love other comics.
Yeah.
I've heard this story hundreds.
Sounds like the Nom.
Yeah, just keep your feet dry, Jim.
I've heard that same story probably told 100 times at this point. Why is it legendary that you guys just didn't get fucking paid? I know the new guys,
comedians,
obviously.
yeah.
But guys that are pieces of shit.
Yeah,
but guys that
especially back then, if you were also we're these young, terrified smack asses. We think that if we mouth off to one club owner, we won't work anywhere.
You'll never work in this town again.
So if they go, yeah, we'll give you a feature act. You can do half, and also they go, hey, you get to do half an hour, and you're like, ooh,
yeah,
you get to do half an hour,
more.
and we'll give you $25, and you never negotiate. You immediately. I remember. When I was at Garvin's, they banned Dave Chappelle because he was the first guy to go, no, pay me what I'm worth. He wasn't even asking for crazy money. He was like 18 years old, just going, doing half an hour. Give me $50 a set. Like, get the fuck out of here.
That was a good move by Garvin's.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Now you get the hell out of here.
But I still don't understand why they keep you guys down.
Proud bastard.
Because they can. Because we do it because we love doing it.
It's disgusting.
It is.
Man.
But eventually,
I mean, the Comedy Store to this day doesn't pay.
Oh, those guys. Neither does the
Improv. Neither does
none of the city clubs do.
No.
Yeah, people don't know that out there.
To headline Carolines or comics or
It's different.
Gotham
obviously.
is different,
Of course.
Yeah.
But for spots, none. The Improv pays $7.
Also, you remember you would do these one-nighters, and it was very clear that the guy that was booking the one-nighter, that booked you, went to this bar or restaurant or hotel lounge and said, yeah, I can book a comedy show for you guys. I'm going to need a budget of like $1,500.
Yeah.
And then he went to his 3 comics. All right, you get 15 to open, and you get 25 to feature, and you'll get 75 to headline. And then he's pocketing the rest. And you know that the gig will last probably 3 more weeks before they get hip to what he's doing. But at that point, he's already found another land. Like, that's how these guys would stay. They would just keep sharking around.
And maybe one headliner he trusted or whatever who would pick up the money. Like, we would always have to pick up the money for the book. But one of the comedians that he knew wouldn't fucking tell the other comics how much he was making.
Right.
Wow.
He'd be like, if he's paying out $300 and he's making $6.
Yeah.
Like, what a piece of shit. But he would trust the one guy to pick up his money.
Uh-huh.
It was really. But you learn. The guys that aren't willing to do that are the guys that are fucking long gone. It's like the guys that weren't willing to do that.
You had to play the game.
You had to, but then you make up for it in the end. You make up the money.
Yeah, because also what you have is you have so much stage time that when you do start headlining, shit just doesn't faze you like it used to. Because you're like, oh, I've been through so much worse than this. You're doing it to go through all the shit, so that when you're headlining, you're not going to freak out and pee your pants and pull a Michael Richards and run off stage.
Right.
And it wasn't that I don't think Michael Richards is a racist. I think Michael Richards is a guy who didn't do a lot of stand-up, who got very successful on TV and is suddenly on stage and freaks out
and lost
couldn't handle a heckler.
Couldn't handle a heckler. And if you listen to the guy that was heckling him, he sounded like a guy that could have easily been handled.
Yeah. Right.
You're like, oh, if he just talked to him a little bit, you want to go, oh, okay, cool.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was a black table, obviously. And, as a comedian, it's like that's frustrating when they start heckling you.
Sure.
But he just snapped.
Yeah.
If they were a table of fat white women who would have been like, you fat cunts! Like, he just dropped the A-bomb.
It would have been cunts instead of...
Of course it would have.
Yeah.
He just dropped the A-bomb.
Yeah.
No matter what it was, he was going to go.
He would go
out.
to the worst thing possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't Dudley Moore. You brain cancer clubfoot! A lot of Dudley Moore kids.
Yeah, a lot today, Jim.
I know. God rest his little short pudding-headed soul.
I'm hearing that the Patton Oswalt shows are all sold out at Caroline's.
Are they? Oh, of course.
Oh, wow.
So you don't even have to be here. So thanks for coming in, Pat.
Thanks for having me.
No, I want to ask you about something I have not seen, but I hear about a lot.
Why not?
The Maynard documentary from the guy from Tool, of course.
Yeah. That guy.
You were part of that?
Yeah, Maynard Keenan is great.
Love Tool, by the way. I'm a big fan.
Tool, Perfect Circle.
Yep.
And
Pussified.
Pussifer.
Pussifer, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he bought some old abandoned ghost town in Jerome, Arizona. And I think it used to be a silver mine, and he built a winery out there.
He bought the whole town?
I think he bought like a major part of the town, because I think it was selling for nothing.
Just sitting there, right.
And he started a winery. And
Did he lock the Brady's in a jail cell? Trying to jump my claim.
Look, I'm trying to grow grape here, dang. Yeah, he became this insane prospector out in the desert. Last night I drew a woman in the sand and had relations with her. But he does this. He does a. It's called and they're called Merkin Vineyards, which I don't know if knows what a Merkin is.
Yeah, that's hard.
And he does use amazing wines, and they're really fucking tasty wines. He's always been really into wines.
Yeah.
And what were you? Was it a documentary on the whole thing?
Did a documentary about the thing, and he had like some of his friends come in and taste some of the stuff, and I came in and just gave him shit about the stuff. I visited the winery too. It's really cool.
Yeah.
He's this bald ex-Marine rock star out there, just with these barrels and just to taste this, and he's out there growing grapes in the desert.
I didn't know he was an ex-Marine.
Yeah, he was in he was in some kind of armed force. There's footage of him on stage, either with Tool or Perfect Circle, and some douchebag like runs up, and Maynard. It's so amazing. He just flips the guy over his shoulder and slams him onto the ground, and then just keeps singing. It is such a fucking Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout, just bam, just shove it up into his head, clunk, and then just keep singing the song. It's like, damn, what a badass.
And the book is Zombie Spaceship Wasteland. You know what? I'm going to read this fucking thing. Absolutely. I just decided on the spot I got to read this
Especially read the chapter, The Victory Tour, about the worst 11 days on the road. And have Jim read that too. I want to know what he thinks about that.
Absolutely.
I'd be very curious to know.
And you got to come back and see us.
Definitely. Next time I'm in New York.
You had fun, right?
Yeah. I'm glad that I finally got to do this show.
We've been trying to do this forever.
And to your credit, people on Twitter will go, when are you doing Opie and Anthony? And I would go, when they ask me. Like, I'm always in New York. So I'm
for so long, man. Yeah.
Well, now we got the connection.
It's like a Three's Company episode. There was like all this miscommunication. We just never did it.
It's like, why don't you do O&A? And then you do the show. You sucked. Thanks, great. Fucking assholes.
I thought you were Patrice O'Neill, not Patton Oswalt. You stink.
Why didn't you wait a minute? Fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I'm off.
You killed
Yes.
today, man.
Thanks,
it was
man. That was
terrific radio.
Hey, this is Patton Oswalt. You are pantsless, and you're listening to the worst of the Opie and Anthony show.
You're listening